From Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, to Cut and Shoot, Texas, from Walla Walla, Washington, to Coachella, California. Let's ride. We want to ride shotgun with you for the next hour, talking trucking with Deaton and Doty.
Mark, can we get a correct
Did I say
on that one?
Coachella, right?
Or Coachella.
Coachella.
I was saying
Coachella.
Chowchilla all day yesterday. I had it
Coachella.
spelled phonetically, not correctly.
People listen just shaking their head.
Here it
What's
is
going
right
on,
here.
guys? Welcome to
Coachella.
What's up?
episode 21, Fully Legal, as Christian Sneed named it last week. We'll put that up. Today on the show, joining us is on screen, as you can see, is Mark Chavey Chavez. Ray Nieto and Jim Mackey are with us also. Wide World of Sports will not be here today. Joel is sick, and he'll be back next week. Trucking questions with Kumar, and then we'll talk a little trucking with Mackey, Ray, and Chavey, Christian, Mike, and myself. Ian will be covering the trucking news this past week. I heard there's a lot going on, huh, Ian?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, welcome to the episode. Before we get into the news, we're going to go into that first. Before we get into that, I've had a million calls and texts about this lab work that I mentioned on the show. So, yes, I did go. I didn't make it by Friday. I lost a bet with Joel. I put it off till Tuesday, but I went Tuesday and got the results. And everybody, I think most people know, we film the show on Wednesday nights, and then they get it put up on our channel and other platforms on Friday. So today's Wednesday night. The lab results came back after lunch. I'm okay, just so you know. And actually, they had me come over next door to just do my vitals again because I've been on that blood pressure medicine for
couldn't find a pulse.
2 weeks. Well, no, actually my blood pressure was way better. It was 138/80. And she said that's a great improvement from the 159/110 that I was when I got on the medicine. However, we ate lunch in here. Zach and Tina and I ordered from a place down the street. And then shortly after lunch, the doctor's office calls me and says, your lab work's back. And the nurses come out back and they go outside on their breaks. So Angie, one of the nurses, was going outside. So I just went outside and she went over with me outside. And she said, well, your cholesterol's a little high. Whatever these levels are, I don't know. I'm not a medical person, but she said, so what we're going to do, no medicine, we're just going to set you up on a diet. So the diet's going to be low fat, low carbs, low sugar. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I just ordered a sizzle cheesesteak and French fries for lunch and killed that. I said, so I'm ready now.
Right.
So,
Are you
so
going
let me
back
ask
on
you
the
this,
keto?
Russ.
No, I'm not. I asked her about keto. She said no, because that's high fat. So she said low fat, and basically she also kind of reminded me of your story, Christian, last week. So she said that they're doing an A1C check on the blood sample because I did the blood Tuesday, today's Wednesday. So because my blood sugar was 140, whatever that means, she said that's kind of high.
Yep.
She goes, did you fast? And I said, no, you guys didn't tell me to fast. I went about an hour and a half after lunch. And I said, actually, I was busy that day. I had to run downtown Barberton to one of our buildings. And so there's McDonald's on the way. I got a Big Mac combo and a Diet Coke.
So that's actually your blood sugar is doing pretty well.
And
Considering
she
what you
said,
put in
she
your
was
body.
laughing. She was like, that's why. She goes, but the other test goes 3 months back. She goes, you probably will be fine on that. So
I want to know, too, since you were outside while she was going over the results, were you smoking a cigarette?
I was. And so was she. I like this nurse.
So I got a question with food. Is there something called Barberton chicken?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Unfortunately,
disgusting.
it's terrible.
Well,
it has national good
It's been on-
reviews, but I had it once and I was like,
fried
"This is
in
the worst fried
it's
chicken I've
not
ever had."
for these guys, maybe, but
Absolutely awful. Don't listen to him.
it's really good. It's fried in lard, so deep fried in lard.
I thought it would be great because of that. It really let me down.
Crap. I like it. it's a heart attack in a box. Is what
I say that's why your cholesterol's
Right.
off.
No, I don't eat it. I haven't had it in
Since you've been
probably-
living here.
No, I haven't had it in probably
Eating it with
a
green
year.
beans doesn't help.
Yeah, I don't even think they serve green beans with it. It's all fried. Everything in the box is the same color. The French fries,
The box.
the box.
Yeah, so you can skip that and go straight to Al's Hungarian foods.
Amazing. Al's Market in downtown Barberton is amazing.
Skip Barberton completely. Go straight to Cleveland and get something good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the update. I no more sizzle steaks for me. And she told me, look, man, you can have a cheat day every now and then. She said, just keep it a little greener on what you're eating and a little less fat, and you'll be okay. So that's that. I was happy because when you take that blood work, and I know all the things they were looking, my kidneys, my heart, all this stuff, they were looking for stuff. So since Tuesday, Tuesday morning when I went, or no, it was in the afternoon after lunch. I was worried that I was all these things going through my mind. Do I have cancer? Do I have kidney failure?
Oh my gosh, why is it taking so long?
I know, and so that was a big relief. She said, everything came back clean except for these couple of things, and it can be done with diet.
Well, I'm glad to see you're healthy. That's good.
Oh yeah, sizzle steak was great today. It'll be a while before I have that again.
Is McDonald's low fat?
I won't
They
be
have
going there.
salads.
Yeah, if you drive through the drive-through and don't stop, it's perfectly healthy.
If you walk from the office
There
to
you go.
McDonald's, you can burn some of the calories.
That's a great answer.
So yeah, Ian, you want to get on to the news? What's going on in the world of trucking?
Yeah, Mike, you actually might have heard about this being a Florida man. There was a new highest payout on a lawsuit against a trucking company. $1 billion. Well, actually, it was two.
Okay,
but
Dr. Evil.
combined,
That's it.
yeah,
Dr. Evil's here.
I got my pinky right here. So $1 billion. What had happened was a truck had
happened was
yeah, a truck driver working for AJD Business Solutions was distracted by his cell phone, driving over the legal limit of his hours, and didn't have a CDL. He caused a crash, flipped
So
his truck.
There was no hours that were legal.
Yeah,
so he wasn't over his legal hours. He had no hours.
Well,
if he didn't have a CDL.
If he was doing legal, or if he was doing hours, they were still wrong.
They were shot.
So he flipped his truck, caused a huge backup. Then coming down the road after him, another driver for a company, oh man, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Kakashan. They're out of Canada. He was driving with his cruise control about 70 miles an hour and smacked into the back of that traffic. They said that there was only about 1 second that he had pressed on the brakes before the crash.
Wow.
And he killed somebody. So they went to court, $1 billion. It's $100 million for the family, and then the rest is all punitive against
The
them.
problem with that, and I told you, Ian, the other day when we were talking about it, so those two trucking companies will probably go bankrupt.
I think they already are. They've
Yeah.
already checked out.
So I doubt they'll ever pay out that much money. I mean, they'll pay whatever they can collect from them, but yeah. But that's a huge verdict.
Yeah, and this has apparently been a problem in Florida. Insurance companies are starting to not carry people in Florida. They're even having policies that are 2, 3, or 4 times higher than the national average. So definitely affecting carriers down there with their court systems. They are not being kind to truckers.
Well, they hear all this Florida man stuff, so they're afraid of Florida.
I know. I was just trying to get it printed out because I kind of forgot about it when you guys, until you guys just mentioned it. But I can't. Zach, can you resend it to me? I can't open this. The one that you sent me.
Hey, Mike, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When you send your kid to school, and in Virginia, our dog ate our homework. In Florida, is it my meth gator ate my homework?
Florida man ate my homework.
Yeah.
What else you got, Ian?
Yeah, moving on. I'm going to get into a little bit of the weather here. There are a few disturbances out there in the Atlantic. 2 of them have a 80% chance of developing into something. First one is going to possibly go through the Yucatan Peninsula, like the other one that just did. And the other one they're expecting to swing around and die out in the Atlantic. And then the one that just came off the coast of Africa probably won't turn into anything at all, they're guessing. But
They were
Who
wrong
knows?
last week on
Yeah.
the show. They were wrong about
Henri.
Yeah.
Henri.
Very wrong. Yep.
Yeah, they said it was just going to kind of make that right hook, and
Mhm.
it nailed Brooklyn and Connecticut. Did you guys get any rain from that, Christian and Roanoke?
No, not much. No.
Yeah.
My wife was had to fly around it. She had to actually go to Cleveland, fly all the way out to Cleveland to come back from Vermont last week. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was I watched that on the Weather Channel the Sunday morning, I think, and there was just a ton of delays at all up and down that East Coast, Northeast airports.
Moving on, though. I have something new for you guys. A couple weeks ago, we did the 5 most dangerous stretches of roads.
Yeah.
We're going to do 5 most common animal collisions.
I
And
saw
these
something
are,
of that.
yeah, these are,
And it's in the Northeast, right?
yeah, these are broken down.
I love that picture.
Jeez.
These are broken down by county.
So that's probably someone's truck camera that picked it up.
I hope not their phone.
Right.
We're gonna start out with you guys. Whereabouts do you think that this is? East, west? Mike kind of already.
I'm going to
Yes,
say
I
the
think
Midwest.
I want to
Midwest.
say east.
I don't know. I'm gonna say it's somewhere like West Virginia, Kentucky line, like West Virginia, that's south.
I think-
side.
Mhm.
Look
but
at the color of the dirt.
Well, the size of the deer, though, up here they're big like that. I think the further south you get, they seem
Do
to
you
be
want a
smaller,
specific
right?
state or a region?
I'm going to say Ohio.
A region's fine.
I'm going to
Region.
say
I'm
Ohio.
saying Midwest.
Yeah.
I say
so
Ohio.
Midwest
Is
boy
that
right
an
there.
elk?
No,
It's an elk,
that's
I'm gonna say
That's
Arizona.
dinner right there.
that's
a
a
moose.
that's a white-tailed deer.
Yeah, it's big book. Big book.
Wisconsin, isn't it?
Where is
First, number 5 is Mason County, West Virginia.
that? You nailed it, Christian.
Mm.
It's if you ever want, I tell you, West Virginia. No offense, it can be the most depressing. It's beautiful grass for like 3 months a year. Then the soil's dark and the trees are dark, and you get depressed. I had an office there. It's
Hey,
no
that-
bueno.
That's Ohio too, so we understand.
No wonder you guys eat the Barberton chicken.
Yeah.
We're built different.
Number 2.
Yellow down.
Oh,
I hear
it's
you.
not gonna let me just grab it. Hold on, I gotta.
No, you need me to make you a PowerPoint
So
next time.
On
Yeah.
this subject,
Number 2. Oh, go
we
ahead.
have the top 2 animal collisions on our fleet.
Oh man.
There we go.
Shannon with a horse, and
Yeah, we'll have to put that
we
picture
got
up.
a picture in the office of the horse that he hit. It was huge. It's not gross or anything, the picture, but Ian hung it on his bulletin board. Pretty cool. That was a couple of years ago, and then Robbie hit a sheep not that long ago. I think he was in
Yeah.
Wyoming or Montana, right, Mike?
Yeah, it was one of those.
Oh man.
Actually, no, it wasn't one of those like mountain goats. It was a sheep, right? It was.
I think so. It was a sheep.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was. I don't know if it was somebody's sheep, but it was really random.
So
All right, go ahead,
Did the
Christian.
wool soften the hit?
My uncle used to drive an old Freightliner cab over with the 318 horsepower Detroit in it, and he was driving down the road and he had hit a horse and took care of it. And dispatch asked him why he was so late. He said, "Well, I had a 318 horsepower when I showed up, and down to 317 when I got here."
Minus 1 horse.
That's right. That's right.
Minus 1 horse.
That's
That's
it.
funny.
Was
All
his
right,
name
Chris-
Friday?
The horse's name was Friday.
That's right.
Next one on our list was Washington County, Pennsylvania. We'll run through these, followed by, there should be a better way to do this, Lee County, Pennsylvania.
These are the places with the most collisions.
Yes. In number 2, we have Butler County, Pennsylvania.
That's right over there by Erie. That's
Mhm.
Pennsylvania's
100
kinda
miles from
cursed.
us.
Yeah, a lot of lots of trees, lots of narrow roads.
Maybe their hunters just can't shoot straight.
And then final is Anson County, North Carolina.
It's probably a lovely place.
I think that's down by
that's right.
near Charlotte.
I
right?
think that's where the Salina 52 truck stop is.
That's in Tennessee.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Bucksnort, Tennessee.
okay.
But
That's
yeah,
interesting.
be aware
I thought
when you're going
Wisconsin
through those
did.
areas.
What'd you say, Jim?
I thought Wisconsin would be in on that somewhere.
Well, Wisconsin's coming up. I have a PowerPoint all about that.
I have
No, I
a
thought
PowerPoint.
with the deers are like that.
Oh, I have something on the PowerPoint to mention the deers in Wisconsin too. The deer hunters.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my bases covered.
I've been looking forward to this PowerPoint all week long. I'm serious, guys. I wanted to set an alarm just to
Yeah,
text
right.
you this morning. I've
Well-
been waiting for this.
I
Well-
was
Russ has a
working
whole
on it for
office to
3
try to
days.
put it
So-
together as well as Christian.
Yeah, Christian,
I just
I was
gotta-
saying
I just gotta
before, if
Give in.
if we went to school together, I would want to be in your group for a school project for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Public speaking was not a fear of mine, so PowerPoint just naturally.
Nor mine. And I've been doing PowerPoint since 3rd grade, so I don't understand why you don't have the love for me here, Ian. If we were in the same grade in school, come
I'll
on.
tell you guys this. in
You would pay
school,
somebody to do the work for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I was so deathly afraid of presentations in front of the class. I didn't do one. I skipped every one. Never once did I do a presentation in front
Really?
of the
Same.
You just
And now you're
nominated
the-
somebody else.
Now you're the
I
host of a
took
Talkin
a
Truckin
0
show.
every time, or skipped, or
Co-host.
something to that effect, but definitely never.
Yeah, the secret's just not to care.
That's how I've never had a problem. I don't even under.
As I got older, yeah, I figured that out.
Yeah, I've asked Tina to come on the show a couple times or just talk about her job here.
Immediate no.
Immediate, yeah.
As
She's
soon as the words leave your mouth,
she
no.
trembles when of the thought of getting up in front of people and talk. She just it's not her
I was
cup
like
of
that
tea.
in high
I don't get
school.
it. I don't get
I
it.
was like that in high school. I'd want to puke. I felt like I would have to puke, so I would literally just skip class that day.
So how
Same,
was your
same.
dating game in high school if you just got puked when you got
Horrible.
nervous to
I've
talk?
been with the
Horrible?
same girl since high school.
MySpace.
He's been with his wife since high school.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I got her. I am gonna hang on.
And she knows you're not going anywhere.
I had 2 kids before I was 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Overachiever. Good gracious.
You didn't wait at
Yeah,
all.
right.
At least on that
Yeah,
side.
she was pregnant when I was 15.
He had to get her. He had to get her.
Both
He
of
had to
them.
get her hooked.
My God.
So that way, he didn't have to go through his dating stuff again.
It's funny. So,
Yeah.
like, if they're going to college, you would just finish paying yours off, then you'd start paying theirs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're 23 and 21.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
CDL bound here shortly.
Mike, I was
Right.
the same way. I had Nathan and Matthew. I was 21 and 24 when I had them, so I was young. And it's cool because I'm 49. I think. Well, how old is Nate? Zach, 29.
29.
He's 29, and Matthew's 25 or 26, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool, man. I'm not that old. We have a lot of stuff to share together as adults, and so. And then I have friends my age that started way late, and I mean, I'd hate to be my age changing diapers right now. I got to be honest with you. And I have a few friends that are doing that, and I'm like, wow, I would not want to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Not
They
over
push you
again.
down. When you go to the wedding, they push you down an aisle in a wheelchair. Not a good scene.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks for the news update, Ian Dunlap.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
And he's out of here.
Yeah, he's got his
Packing it
sister's
up.
birthday dinner tonight, so he wanted to get
21st.
the news.
Happy birthday, man.
21st birthday, just like our 21st.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Fully legal episode.
And
Tell her
happy
that.
birthday to Mike from this past week.
Yeah, Mike had a
42.
birthday.
Oh yeah, thank you. And Christian, I get a message from him, and it's a voice thing singing "Happy Birthday." By the way,
Oh, yeah.
singing it all the way through. It was great. So thank
That's
you.
great.
That made me laugh.
Yeah.
And thanks. I know Dalla sent you something too. That was very thoughtful. Mike, you told me, man,
Right,
I
that's crazy.
couldn't believe it. It's a gift card to Cabela's. He knows Mike loves to fish. Dalla, we've mentioned him before. He's a great guy.
This must be multiples of 21 because 21 and you're 42, right, Mike?
Oh yeah. There you go. Hey, numbers. There's something to do with numbers. I don't know what they are, but we could do a whole show.
Fibonacci's deal.
Yeah.
Astrology.
So, like I said, we won't get into sports today. Before we get to Mike's guys, Ian, can you throw up my PowerPoint.
You mean Zach?
Or sorry, Zach. Man, I get these two confused all the
It's all
time.
I know
Christian's
it's difficult.
eyes light
We
up.
look exactly
Yeah.
the same.
So we put a lot of work
Everybody
into this.
says we sound identical.
You got to
too.
understand, the three of us sit in the same room together every day.
It's like a
So
movie. I'm gonna get a new drink.
yeah, this is.
Let me
I-
figure
and like
out
I
how to
said,
do this first.
I've been doing PowerPoint since the third grade. Not a problem. You guys made fun of me last week. said-
Great. They didn't have
All right.
PowerPoint back
Oh,
in
they
the
did.
You boys see that?
40s.
So
You know
my
what? I
state.
just caught on to that, Ian. Yeah, definitely they didn't have PowerPoint.
My state.
It was shock. It was
My
shock.
State.
Trying to pull one over on us.
My state for
Oh,
my
wait, I
PowerPoint
thought- okay,
was
okay.
Wisconsin.
Let's go.
Zach's PowerPoint.
I want to give a little
Zach's
shout out, like Christian did, to one of his good relationships that he uses a lot, Megacorp. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I like Megacorp, but we do a ton of freight with Schneider. Schneider's been really good to us over the years. And it's just been a great relationship. We've actually had some drop and hooks set up there in the state of Wisconsin. We're not doing that anymore because COVID shut that place down. We had to pull our stuff out. But
You guys
So the
pulled out
state of
Michigan with
Wisconsin.
it, too. Michigan for
And
potatoes
what we
stuff, too,
did
right?
in
You
my
ready? We doing this?
Yeah, what
All
we
right.
did was we put together the hypothetical. So, a couple fun facts about the state of Wisconsin. Nearly 21 million gallons of ice cream are consumed by Wisconsinites each year.
Wisconsinites.
Green Bay is known as the toilet paper capital of the world. And if you put all the hunters on opening day of deer season in Wisconsin together, grouped together, they would be the size of the sixth largest army in the world. That's crazy.
I've heard all this stuff actually before.
Really?
I've heard that specifically. Yeah.
Yeah,
The toilet
that
paper thing.
You're
I
ruining the
called
show
toilet
for me,
paper out
Mike.
of
Be quiet.
it. sorry. Ruining the presentation. Sorry.
I mean, I love how he had the gallery windows open up. That's great.
Oh, just wait.
Uncle Cowboy.
and yeah, so
Sorry. I'm
Uncle
talking
Cowboy
during
is the governor. Statistics about Wisconsin. Admitted in the Union in 1840. Well, I can't see that, Zach.
I think it's 8. I can't.
Yeah.
1848. Yep.
48. Population is 5.3 million. Largest city is Milwaukee. And the capital, or I'm sorry, the headquarters of Schneider, our partner carrier up there, is in Green Bay. And I had Berkey to come on the show and read the fun facts. He's from Schneider about Wisconsin, but he had some late meetings today he couldn't get out of, so at least that's the excuse we're
Shout out
using.
Burke.
Yeah, but he's been great to us.
Brett Favre forever.
Yeah, Brett Favre. I was always a Favre fan.
Me too. Even on the Vikings.
Yeah, I didn't mind him at all. I liked him.
Yeah. I was
Okay. So we did put together a hypothetical Green Bay, Wisconsin driver. So we're going to say on our weeks, if you're on a weekly pay schedule for Meadowlark, either the Dawson or the Deaton fleet, you get the pay cuts off Tuesday night, and you'll get paid on settlement on Thursday and get paid on Friday. So we started the week on Wednesday, and I decided to put this driver as living in Green Bay and going home on the weekends for a 34. So first load we did, Appleton, Wisconsin, 26-mile deadhead to Iowa City, Iowa. Got $1,000. This was a posted rate. I didn't get a chance to negotiate. We just pulled it right off of DAT or from Berkey or Truck Stop. $1,000 on 299 loaded, 26-mile deadhead to Iowa City, Iowa. Then on that was Wednesday to Thursday morning. Thursday morning, Donaldson, Iowa, 71-mile deadhead to Bowling Green, Kentucky, 1,800 on 467. Friday, Clarksville, Tennessee, 56-mile deadhead to Marathon, Wisconsin, 2,300 on 721.
So that means they're taking out the air.
So if you can see what I did with this driver, this hypothetical driver, was I ran him short until Friday, and then I sent him back through Green Bay. Marathon is just northwest of Green Bay, probably 80 or 90 miles, I think, Zach. So
Sure.
he would have gotten home. That's about a 700-mile run. He would have gotten home either probably early Saturday morning, start a reset, and then come out Monday and deliver in Marathon. And then so he was home for Saturday, Sunday, do a 34. Monday, Neenah, Wisconsin, 85-mile deadhead from where he delivered a marathon to Iowa City, Iowa, back to Iowa, 1,000 on 292. It's about the going rate to Iowa. And then Comanche, Iowa, 67-mile deadhead to Chilton, Wisconsin. I sent him back to Wisconsin on another short load, 14 on 270. For a grand total of...
Look at those cheese curds.
Look at those cheese curds.
7,500.
Yeah.
Here's the map.
Here's the map.
There's a nice visual.
Watch
So
out
this is
for
what-
waves.
So this is basically what we did. Keeping him short, keeping him around the Midwest. Because one thing, Christian, Mike, you probably will agree with me on this. Wisconsin's notoriously a good state to go outbound on. If you get into a not so good area and you try and go back to a good area like Wisconsin, you're going to pay the price on the rate.
Yeah.
So that's how I would work Wisconsin. If anybody, if this was, and I've done it many times because we run a lot out of there, but I would keep them from good area to good area. So I'm not going to go far. And that, that weekend run was only 700 miles, 720. So total miles loaded, 2,049. Zach will pull that up on my PowerPoint. Total deadhead miles, 305. Total revenue, 7,500. And rate per mile was 318 all miles. Total revenue was 75. Oh, I said that. And 318 all miles. So it's not a bad week, according to Aaron Rodgers.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
No, very consistent too. That's something you can have very consistent with the home time. I like that.
Yeah, and I like I said, we're talking about just what we would do in a certain area. My biggest takeaway that, while I was putting this together, my biggest thought was what I just said. I'm not going to go from Wisconsin to a bad area where, like, I probably wouldn't even go over to Nebraska. It's too stretched out. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be good enough to get back to a good area. Right. It's not going to pay. So I got to keep him in that little circle of, probably 700 miles where I can keep him in an area that it'll pay decent to go back.
Right. Or treat it like Florida and just build round trip miles into everything you do if you do have to leave it. If you are late in the day and there's not an option, have that late pickup and just bill it for a round trip. They don't have to like the rate, but they will like your truck. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was great, man. I loved it.
So
that was great.
Thank you, everybody.
I told you I've been doing PowerPoint since 3rd grade.
I just expected to see you clacking erasers and using.
You
chalk.
thought I was going to be on a whiteboard, didn't you?
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So, and thanks to Zach.
Like your blood work.
Yeah, good
just
job,
like
Zach.
Yeah, thanks to Zach for
thanks, guys.
helping me put that together.
Say, I might have to get the name of the person that put that together for you. I might have to hire him for next year.
He's gonna contract that.
Mike's got Indiana next week. But yeah, I rewatched the show, the part where you went over Ohio and how you'd run it, and I found that interesting. I mean, I like to think about an area and how I would do it, and then to see how you would do it, that hypothetical. So it's kind of cool we're doing this. I think.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do Mike's, and then we'll kind of just start recapping some areas, all three of us together, maybe after we do that.
Yeah.
Is
So,
that a PowerPoint for Dummies book I see on your desk?
Oh yeah, no, that's PowerPoints
100%.
for veterans of PowerPointing. Yeah, so I don't know. We started something, Mike, a couple of weeks ago. Florida Man update. Did you get it? Did you get that?
I got it printed out here.
So
yeah, and Zach's email said that what it said there was only
3 that I could use from this week that were PG-13 up.
Are you serious?
So
Which-
it's crazy down there.
which makes me question about the other ones. I want to know now.
Yeah, just look it up.
it seemed like
There's
were
a whole subreddit
longer
for
ones.
it and a Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there is. Yeah. I'm sure there's a Florida Man Facebook page. All right, let's see. We got Florida man arrested after armed robbery of a Snickers bar at Wawa. A 49-year-old man threatened a Largo Wawa convenience store employee with a pocket knife to steal a Snickers candy bar. Florida man Eric Mento told the victim, "Don't make me do something stupid for a Snickers bar." Too late, buddy. Too late.
Have you ever had a Snickers bar? Come on now.
Yeah,
I
right.
would
You see
kill
the
for that.
commercials when someone's hungry, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't blame him. It's the commercial's fault. Florida man spends $75,000 on a statue of himself. Wants taxpayers to pay for it. Former Escambia, I say that, Escambia County Sheriff David Morgan spent $75,000. Oh wow, Oh wow, former Escambia County Sheriff David Morgan. I start reading this and I can't believe it, so I got to reread it. Former Escambia County Sheriff David Morgan spent $75,000 in taxpayer money on 2 life-size bronze statues, including one on himself before leaving office in December of 2020. Wow.
Wow. So it was not his money. It was taxpayers.
No, it was taxpayers' money, right?
He wrote a check.
Gotta love those Florida politicians.
You gotta be pretty
Everybody
narcissistic
cheer
to do
for
that.
me.
I mean, you're putting up statues of yourself. There's a little bit of narcissism going on.
Yeah.
Let's
Isn't that
see.
considered embezzlement?
I don't know. Definitely not
Something.
something. See, Florida man tries for days to get a large iguana out of his toilet. A Florida man who found a large iguana in his toilet tried unsuccessfully for several days to remove it before calling a trapper. So, yeah, those were the only 3 PG-13 ones this week, I guess.
There was
I'll
one
check
Tina
out
sent
the other
you.
ones.
That one was from 2018.
Oh, the one Tina sent you?
Yeah, hang on.
That was
Yeah,
funny,
if you
though.
go, if
So
you go
funny.
back and you don't just do recent ones, yeah, there's some.
Florida man steals a car, realizes a baby is in it, drops baby off safely, and makes his getaway.
Oh my gosh.
Carjacker.
Florida man in "No, seriously, I have drugs" T-shirt arrested for possession of drugs.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Tina showed me that.
Yeah.
Guy had a shirt that says, I have drugs, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It says, "Who needs drugs?"
Or
"No,
who needs
seriously, I
drugs?"
have drugs.
and he got arrested for it.
Yeah, there was another one. I think we read this one, but through the alligator through the Wendy's drive-through window.
Oh, yeah.
Did we read that one?
Yeah,
already?
we did last
Yeah,
week.
that was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
There's been a
hilarious.
few of those though. But yeah. So that's it with the Florida man stuff this week.
All right, cool.
No, it's funny because I remember when I was going through Florida for the first time, my daughter was with Militzi and her grandmother Coco, and we saw those iguanas everywhere. And Militzi's grandma was
huge.
like, yeah, they're huge and they're colorful too. And she goes, Mark, you got time to stop so we can try to catch a couple? Because you know those are worth like $500 in California. And I'm like, I don't think we can take them. I don't think
Yeah.
we can take them.
I don't think you can either.
Yeah.
We
Well,
saw
down at
those.
They're
We're not used to that, obviously in Ohio, but when we were in Aruba,
that-
we saw those.
And that's
Everywhere.
exactly how you go to Florida on vacation and leave on probation.
Leave on probation.
exactly. Yeah, but I
well,
mean, they
there's-
were everywhere.
I'm
They-
fascinated with this Florida man thing, Mike. It
Yeah.
just cracks me up.
Yeah, they pay people to hunt pythons down here and get rid of them because they're such a nuisance, and they've become, the population has grown so much.
Yeah.
That the county, and it's mainly down near the Everglades, but to just go out and hunt pythons, and they pay you per foot or something like that, or I don't know how you get by that. The
Okay,
county.
so now I know how I'm spending my next vacation.
The counties pay you, but it was from, a lot of it was from people were into exotic animals and things like that down in South Florida when Hurricane Andrew hit. What was that, late 80s, early 90s?
I think so, yeah.
And released like everything that was not supposed to be in Florida is all out there in the woods now, and has been multiplying ever since, and breeding. And
So I've never taken vacations to Florida. I know a lot of people from Ohio do.
Don't waste your time.
I'm not. And, I got more interesting things on my places to go on my mind. But my parents go in the winter, so they spend the whole winter in Florida, and then they come back up here and stay when, in the summer here because it's not so hot. So Tina went with her mom and sister to Iceland a few years back, maybe 4 years ago. And I decided to go down and visit my parents for the week. So I did, and I gotta say, I think I was the youngest person within 100 miles in Naples. It was
I went to Clearwater when I was like 10 or something.
Yeah.
And that was just terrible.
It was. I mean,
It was so many old people.
and I should have thought about it. I'm going to a retirement area, village, and it was a nice place where they were in Naples. But yeah, it was definitely
Old
by
head
far the 20 plus years younger than
Yeah.
pretty much anyone I saw the whole week. But what was interesting to me is, so I don't see alligators like you do, Mike. I mean, you probably grew up seeing alligators, right?
Yeah.
I've only seen them in the zoo. I don't go to the zoo all the time. So, my dad's like, hey, let me take you here. We went down from Naples, not very far of a drive, maybe 20 miles or so, 30 miles. And we were starting into the Everglades where it comes across to go to Miami area. And he takes this back road along this creek. And there were we drove up through there, and I got out to take pictures of them, but there were alligators everywhere. I could not believe, big ones too. I could not believe what I was seeing. And I felt safe because most of them were on the other bank. So, it wasn't a very wide creek, but I just jump out of the car. But man, I started seeing them when I get out to take a picture. Someone would slowly go into the water, like coming towards me, and I jumped right back in the car. I'm like, all right, Dad, let's go. But there was a ton of them, man.
Yeah,
We got
I was
armadillos.
16. Yeah, we got everything. But yeah, I was 16, 17 years old. My dad would let me take his ski boat out. I don't know why. Brave man. But
Florida man.
yeah, and I was with my wife and on the tube, man, and we were out in the lake, and I can remember, seeing a gator over there and whipping her around, tube
Yeah.
right across the gator's head. Gator dunks down. But when I was growing up, all my friends, none of them were from Florida. They were all from, a lot of them from New York and other places. So, and we would hang out on this dock near this lake, and they couldn't believe, at first, they didn't believe I would jump in the water, but I was used to skiing in that lake. And I think they put together about, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks. They all had like $1 or something like that if I would jump in.
Yeah.
So I cleaned up. I was young. It was like an easy 15 bucks for me, but I had been skiing and fishing in that lake all my life. But
Yeah, that's a different world for me, man, with all those alligators and snakes and stuff. Here in Ohio, probably in
Tastes good,
Roanoke,
though.
too. We don't have anything that'll kill you, I don't think. There's nothing poisonous.
Just Barberton chicken.
Barberton
Right.
chicken, that's it.
There you go.
That's my go-to.
Sizzle
now.
steak
That's his
sandwiches.
go-to, yeah. All right, cool. Well,
Love the gator bites.
thanks for the Florida Man update, Mike. Christian, you want to get on to what you got put together, and then we'll get
Yeah.
on to some Kumar stuff?
Absolutely. All right, you should see the Ohio,
We do.
which is kind of like part
Let's
two
go.
from last week. So last week we ran just what we agreed to, which was the spot market with things. And so we talked about if we were going to go ahead and run a drop trailer program and a hybrid, because there's three different options. You can run all spot freight, drop trailer, or a mix, which we call hybrid. So we're going to look at that. A good reminder, since 1983, but Metal Arc Transport does offer drop trailer customers and drop trailer opportunities for agents through their program. My start in getting into drop trailers and yards was with the DCS, the Dedicated Contract Services of JB Hunt. And really from a really young age, and I was really young and naive, not sure how a lot of these guys on the screen put up with me. But most of the behaviors that I learned were caught, not taught. As a parent, you always say, I want to teach my kid things, but they actually pick up more from how you parent, how you talk to them, and how you treat them. And so I had some really good mentors. Stephen Garish was the guy that I met when I went in the door, and that was at Target in Stewart Straff, Virginia. He's now the VP of Safety and Compliance at Old Dominion. But back then, he was the most compassionate person that I met. He was just a servant leader. He got to know you personally, and he cultivated a lot of great skills, management skills that I didn't know I possessed. Jay Wang was another one. He was a Ranger. He's now the vice president for Linco Supply Chain Solutions. I worked with him at Family Dollar, running roughly, I guess, about 70 units up there on I guess started at 56 drop trailer up there in Front Royal, Virginia. Very well-disciplined guy, all about respect and chain of command. And then Chris DePasquale, who was I guess he was underneath the vice president, so he's in operations at that time. He's now the director of sales at Swift, very organized and hands-on with the customer. So going into drop trailer, it's not like you just say, I have assets and I want to drop them, but it does take a certain ability to relate to the customer and understand what their needs are. So I thought, why not look at the pros and cons before we get into the revenue? So, like we said, we have spot, customer, and a hybrid. This is just the pros and cons. So on the left, we have the live load. There are benefits to live loading. There are benefits to staying in the market and staying away from drop trailers. A lot of that is that when the market's up, you can capture it right when it happens. And when trends start to go up, you're not relying on old pricing or an RFQ or an RFP that you might have on long term. The downside is obviously there's usually a downturn somewhere downstream. The good news is you have flexibility of pickups. So if you can't get back to a certain area where your customer is, you don't have to worry about it because it's not your customer for a drop trailer. You can pick to use the brokers that put you in the areas that you want to go in, week out. Obviously, you're going to have a lower equipment cost, which means that you can run less expensive than some drop trailer customers or than drop trailer carriers. And you don't have the disadvantage that when you have one truck empty, you have one truck empty with multiple trailers behind it. So there is a hidden cost to drop trailers. It's not just about how much per mile or how much per load can I have on it. It all comes down right back to what we talked about with occupancy and utilization. If you're not utilizing the equipment properly, then you're losing money. So on a drop trailer side, it's a little different. I look to see there are a lot of benefits to it, and we'll go over a couple of them. The first thing is time management. It's basically imagine dropping at a 24-hour receiver with no window. It's, you're going to be there, less than 24 or less than a half hour, 45 minutes. And having a drop and hook situation permits you to run longer miles if you need to, adjust your clock, get good parking, and all the things that are benefits to the health and well-being when you're out on the road. You're not fighting for parking spots. You can adjust your schedule, those kind of things. You get to learn. And we've got a gentleman with Metal Arc does a military account driver of the year this past year, Joe McCowan, and he knows everybody on those military bases better than anybody else. And initially it's through Car Alley now, but it was through XPO, and they just said one thing is maintain him for us, please.
Good old Joe. I met him in Destin.
Yeah, in Florida where you were on vacation. I thought it was odd that I know it was a work function, but I look at Destin. It was a great vacation.
That really was. We had a great time.
It was.
And Joe, he is on the Dawson fleet, like Christian said, and driver of the year. Was it last year's driver? Because we combined the two drivers of the year.
Yeah, because Michelle was 2 years ago, so he was last year. Yep.
Yeah.
And then so, obviously hours of service and planning, the long-term benefits obviously are pricing. When you can get in with a customer and they come to rely on you and your assets, that's great. The load consistency, knowing that you're going to have freight, kind of the uneasiness of a spot market is you don't know when we might have those ebb and flows. If you have a customer that's consistent and has the same area, freight going to the same area, that helps too, because then it's a targeted delivery on when you're going to get home. Customer reliance is another one. They come to rely on you that, hey, this trailer's here, it needs to be picked up. And if you deliver on that, they're willing to pay for service because that's the reason they're bringing your asset in. Other benefits are it's less competitive. I know, obviously on sales, when you call, and Russ and Mike, you guys probably dealt with this. When you call, they first ask, do you have your own assets? I'd say 80% of the phone calls that you have is sales and brokerage or customer development is, are you a trucking company or a brokerage?
Right. They want to talk to you if you got assets.
Absolutely.
If you got trucks.
And even more so
trailers.
now because of the shortage, right?
Right.
But, and you say you can. I think that's the great part also with being, with Metal Arc is, yes, we do have assets and a great number of them to leverage that relationship. But brokers, they're not going to offer drop trailer situations that will be priced competitively, which means they're going to inflate the market because they don't have the assets and they're going to have to pay somebody an exorbitant rate for it. But 9 times out of 10, if they need a drop trailer solution, they're not going to a broker. If they are, they're also a carrier, and they're at least that you're getting carrier pricing, not somebody just trying to run your prices into the ground.
Right.
So it is asset only. It is great that as you have consistent runs like Joe does, he has 3 days off every week. Every single week he has 3 days off, an exact same run that he's going from Utah to Oklahoma and back. And it's an easy sell. We have a customer here in Roanoke. They're limited on their warehouse space. We offer, after a period of time, some free drop trailers, 36, 48 hours, depending on how big the project is, maybe longer. If they have a problem with production, they don't always produce it in the right order. They have a piece or two that's held up. It's not a problem. It's not holding up their floor space. They can put it in a trailer if it's limited, and then we can get it going. And if they take a long time to load or unload, they don't have that problem of having guys on site without the ability to leave. So first thing I did was I ran 100% drop trailer customer freight. So this is every single pickup and delivery that we would have would be drop trailer. So it'd be Groveport, Ohio to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And then we'd have Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, going back to Groveport. and then Groveport to Durham, North Carolina, Wagram to Groveport, and Groveport to Erie. So ultimately what you end up coming up with is about 2,500 miles, about $7,700 in revenue, and $3.14 miles all cents. So one thing to notice is the mileage and the amount. So this is going to change a little bit. Obviously last week we put together, I think it was $9,800 achievement with an $8,000 shortfall in the event that one of the loads didn't work out. Still both higher than this. This is a lot easier to run. You don't have as many miles into it, and you have better sleeping patterns, better traffic patterns, everything else. Also notably,
there's no detention time. You're not bumping docks. These are dropping hooks. So
yep, exactly.
It's nice.
And then 34 to 48 hours every single week. So here's one that we have a hybrid. So the Groveport to Bangor, Maine is our drop trailer customer. It's 1,015 miles, $3,200. Then we end up picking up over in Baileyville, coming back. That is a live load. It's a relationship we just cultivated over time, and it's pretty much on autopilot. From there, we take a Gladstone, Virginia back to Circleville as a live load, and we're ready for another drop and hook. As you can see, the revenue is a little bit higher at $8,150. You're also running about another 400 miles to get it. At the same time, it's $283 a mile. So there are benefits to having drop trailer. They're not always a higher cent per mile. Generally, they are, because not only are you paying for the trailers, but you also understand the rates are something that you put in place.
So let me ask you, Christian, the Baileyville, Maine, is that a consistent backhaul for this lane, or is that?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much every week. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that in place, it's nice. Yeah.
And it is. And like you said, going up the Northeast, you think it would get scary. But, when you start to service it, we had another great lane out of there. And it really frustrates me that a little while back, we ended up messing that up. We had 2 late deliveries, the first one and the second one right back to back. We serviced it well for a couple months. We had the first service failure, and it was a blunder, and it was on us. It wasn't a driver issue, it was us. The second one was a 100% driver issue, was a holdup and a disregard for an appointment time, which caused a hiccup when it's late, one of those plant shutdown situations. So we weren't laughing then, but you learn from it. And you learn, it's very important on the hiring process on who you hire, because ultimately they hold your name. Yeah, that's it. And this would be 34 hours at the house.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah, we just put, I was talking to Mike about it, and we have a backup driver option, and I mentioned it to you a few weeks back, Christian. We put AC on a dedicated that Metal Arc put together for us.
Yeah.
And it's drop and hook from Columbus, Ohio, same area, Groveport, Columbus area, going to Bethlehem, PA. And I told AC to give it 2-3 weeks, and let's just work out the bugs and see how it's going. It's not that bad. I'm gonna look at some numbers tomorrow when we do payroll. And I told AC I'd call him Friday, and we can review the last couple. This is the second week of him actually getting paid on it, and so far he's got some issues with it, and I understand where he's coming from, but it's not terrible. It does, but the drop and hook part's really nice.
It is, and I guess, and I'm not sure who the driver is or if they listen to the podcast, but there's always up to about a 30-day acclimation period. So the goal is we understand where the market's at, and you understand what the freight rates are and what it's supposed to look like. If you give it 30 days and a full 30 days without obstruction, without, I'm going on vacation this week, and you figure the kinks out from that point, you can really dictate on what's going on. And it's hard. It's hard to be patient for that period of time, but you have to remember, it's not just you getting used to picking up the freight. It's the customer also getting used to how you are operating as a carrier. When we walked into our customer in Ohio, with Amy, they didn't always have on-time pickups, and that's the reason they went to drops, and their customer prefers it and would like to have more drops. And, when someone else is delivering a different level of service, and hopefully it's always worse than yours, but it does go both ways, where some guys just burn through logbooks and don't care about public safety, and you can't keep up with that. Your guys aren't going to run 800 miles a night every day, and it's not safe. But yeah, give a 30-day acclimation period, and I'm not sure who the driver is, but the biggest thing, be patient, and the reward should be there at the end if it's planned right.
Well, it's AC, and I got to tell you, he's a very stand-up professional driver. It's not his first rodeo. AC's a few years older than me. He's been doing this a long time. I'm really proud to have him walk in the place because he represents us all as a whole well. And he has that attitude. He said, we were talking the other night, I think Monday or Tuesday night. We were talking about it, and he said, no, I'm going to give it the time. These are the things I don't like about it, and these are the things that I do. And there was just a little frustration there, but it was just communicating. He wasn't, mad at me or anything like that for putting him on it. And I told him, listen, we got other drivers that'll do it. You were the first one I went to because you live on one end of this, so you can be home. He is home every weekend. But anyway, you can be home every weekend and know what you're doing every week.
Right.
And then Mike has one of the drivers he dispatches, Tom. It lives on the other end of this. So I told AC that if it doesn't work out after we give this a fair shake or you just want off of it, let's just plan accordingly, and we'll probably put Tom in there. We'll just make sure that we have a notice to get him in there so we can service the customer. Yeah. So
that's great. He's communicating though. Some guys.
He's fantastic.
Just deal with that. It's perfect. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, cool. I and I will say this as, both of us have 2 terminals here with Meadowlark. Meadowlark has been trying to put together drop and hook customers all over the country for the last several years. And it's nothing happens overnight, but it's been growing, and it's been a great relationship. When Stephanie or any, Christy or any of those people that are working on these projects call us and say, hey, this might work for one of your guys, and
yep.
It's really an asset to be a Meadowlark agent, a Meadowlark terminal. So I'm happy about it.
Agreed. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just had Aaron call me the other day about a lane from Pottsville over to Ohio. But it was only one way, and I just ran the numbers. Just didn't make sense, not knowing what I was getting coming back. And
you know what the gross was on that? And where's
1,200.
And where is it going to Ohio?
I don't know. I forget the city. It was right at about 400 miles, I think.
Okay.
Beer, heavy.
So
where was it coming out of, Mike?
Yingling. That's Yingling.
I think Pottsville.
Yeah, that's Yingling.
Yeah.
Corporation across from the goggle factory.
And 12 was like the top. Like they already had. They didn't even want to do 12. He said, so we have to come in and beat that.
Yeah. Well, he should look at the truck to load ratio and see what he really wants to do, because a lot of customers don't really have a voice right now. So
yeah.
Yeah. So Mark, you're in Coachella, huh?
Coachella.
This looks sunny and it's pretty hot out there, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty warm.
Yeah, wildfires in the area.
You know what? Spot ones every now and then. Me and my mom sit outside in the back and look at the view, and we'll see a puff of smoke come out, and we're like wondering, is that one of these forest fires? And it'll run for a little while, and then you see the ones that drop the clay.
Yeah.
And they'll put it out pretty quick, but it hasn't been anything that's like out of control or anything like that.
Mark, I got to tell you guys, I went to his daughter's birthday party a few years back, and then Tina and I, we went on a vacation to, I've mentioned it before, to Venice Beach, California, and that's near Rialto. It was about an hour, and we went up after a few days of vacation. We went up to Mark's house and his daughter's birthday party. It's a really cool backyard. Just looking out, it's a ranch, brick ranch house in a real nice neighborhood in Rialto, but you can see it overlooks. It sits up high on a hill there, and you can.
Yeah.
I guess that's Ontario or something. You're seeing way down in there, right, Mark? Ontario.
No,
California.
what you're looking out from the backyard, you see it's all like San Bernardino, Big Bear,
San Bernardino,
Loma Linda. You could see. I mean, we could see as far out as Redlands.
Yeah, and we saw it at night, and it was all lit up in the valley there. It looked really cool sitting up high. It's a really cool little spot they got. And he's got lime trees or lemon trees in the backyard and kumquat trees.
Kumquat.
Really nice. Really nice place. Yeah. And by the way, Mom, Mark's, we got a history. Mark and I are really close friends. Mark's mom is a super lady, and she makes me salsa or chile, they call it.
Chile.
chile. It's so good. It's from scratch, and she cans it up in mason jars and sends it with Mark when he's coming this way. He hasn't been this way in a while because he's running short out there. But so I'm due, Mom. I know she watches the show. I'm due for some more chile. It's so good. But yeah, Ray, Jim Mackey, you're still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
Have they fixed your truck yet, Jim? I know you're at the shop in the driver lounge.
The guy just talked to me, and he said it'll be about 6:30 at my time here, so it'll be another hour and a half.
Okay, good.
Hour.
And then you can get with Austin. There's already an RO open, so you can get that taken care of and get out of there.
Yep.
And yeah. So, guys, you ready? This week, questions with Kumar. Kumar is in the building.
I'm here.
And Ray, Jim. These questions were written by Christian Sneed.
Do you want to read them off,
great.
Christian? He's sitting right next to me.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Can you read them, Christian? You got them, right?
I sent them to you. I can pull them up. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, we'll give you 1 second. So,
I'm going to give him the cheat sheet.
yeah.
So, Christian, are you going to bet on me this week?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that I'd be a little biased if I
Well,
did.
yeah, so we're up to $140. I got a list somewhere in my desk who owes what 20 here and there. But Mike, I guess it'd be me and you this week. Who do you want? I'll let you pick.
Who?
We got
Christian,
Mark
you
Chavez.
put together the questions.
I did,
Christian
yeah.
put together the questions.
I'm a pretty simple guy. So
I think.
I don't know about that.
Sorry, Coom. Russ got Coom. I gotta go against.
Okay, I'll take Kumar. He is learning after 21 episodes, fully legal, a little bit of trucking knowledge. Kumar Sneed.
And I just crossed into Texarkana, Arkansas right now. So, hey, that was one of the questions from a few episodes back, wasn't it?
Oh, the Texarkana. Yeah. What was it? What state?
Yeah.
Is Texarkana in Kansas true or false?
Oh, yeah. That was a trick question.
Yeah, I'm in Arkansas right now. I just crossed from Texas over to Arkansas.
All right. Is it hot, Ray? And smoking hot, probably in Texas.
97 degrees.
Whew.
Yep, 97 degrees.
Terrible.
Got the AC running full blast.
We've had 2 days of hot weather in the last week, and this summer it hasn't been bad at all. It's usually around 80, 82, but the last couple days have been 91. Zach?
Awful.
Extremely hot.
Kumar, it's been super hot.
Yeah, and where I work, they don't have, or the air conditioning isn't working. So
At the school?
yeah,
And they got kids in there?
which
wow.
makes it even
It's
more
Glen Oak.
hot.
They don't care.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so hot in there. It's ridiculous.
No air conditioner in the school.
Well, they have AC, but it's just not working.
Are you at
and
the big school or?
I'm at the middle school.
Oh God.
Yeah, and they contract it out. So like all the air handlers and stuff. So they have people come in, and these guys, they just basically put duct tape on it, and then next week we're like, hey, we got another problem, and they put some more duct tape on it, and
Wow.
it's ridiculous.
And they'd work.
horrible. All right. So did you find him, Christian?
yeah, I got him here. Yeah, how many
Okay.
questions am I reading? Because I sent
Well,
you.
yeah, you did. I loved the first 5 except for that one that Tina had. Yeah. That was the week you were on vacation.
Huge follower of the show. Wish I remembered that.
But yeah, so just go through 5, and if we need, we won't need a tiebreaker then.
All right. Hey, Kumar, you ready?
I'm ready.
Isn't that what Joel says all the time?
Yeah.
Hey, Kumar, you ready?
Yeah, he does this too.
Yeah, he slams his desk as hard as possible.
Hey, Kumar. All right. Who developed the first compression engine? Was it A, Carl Benz, B, Samuel Brown, C, Ransom Olds, D, Rudolph Diesel, E, Charles Robinson, or F, Henry Ford? Who developed the first compression engine?
Can you read those last names again?
I will. So it was Carl Benz,
Okay.
Samuel Brown, Ransom Olds, Rudolph Diesel, Charles Robinson, or Henry Ford.
I'm gonna go with Rudolph Diesel.
Okay. Kumar says Rudolph Diesel. Jim Mackey, Ray, Mark Chavez. Who wants
I'm
to
gonna
go
go
first?
with Henry Ford.
Henry
Yeah,
Ford.
I would too. Henry Ford.
Yeah,
Henry
me
Ford.
too.
3 of them. Henry Ford. All right. What is it, Christian?
Well, the 3 of you guys are wrong, and Kumar is right.
No. Right on. Let's go.
Yeah.
I kind of knew I was wrong, but I wasn't I wasn't expecting the diesel guy.
Dude, it sounds
I
like a
had a
fake
feeling
name.
it wasn't Henry Ford. I would have picked Henry Ford too, but I had a feeling it wasn't that only because it was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
Henry Ford, he didn't invent the engine though. That he
Correct.
did
No,
the assembly line, right?
He didn't
Yeah.
invent
Yeah,
that
the assembly
either.
line.
That was
He built
that
the
was
car.
Yes,
Yeah,
he built the
basically.
car, but the assembly line actually came from a Chicago meat company. He visited it and replicated it.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was Rudolf Diesel. He's a German inventor and mechanical engineer, developed in 1892. Mysterious death, though. They didn't know whether it was a suicide or a drowning. He went to go visit the Royal Navy, and they thought because he didn't give the Germans the exclusive rights in 1913, he went missing from a ship. And some fishermen or sea people found him 2 weeks later. They pulled his
Wow.
paperwork and put him back into sea, and then mysteriously he showed up another week or two after that, after the fish and sun and water have gotten to him.
Wow.
Hate when that happens.
Hey, wait, what do we say about that? That's suspicious.
Fishes. That's great.
But hey, somebody go over and take Coombs' phone away so he can't Google this.
Oh, he doesn't. He's.
He's
I can
sitting right
see
next to
him.
I'm just
I'm
kidding.
hands free.
I
It's
know,
dark behind these lights in here. I can see him if he's
He
on
just
his
half
phone.
finished
Face
It
is
would,
reading
glowing
the
up.
document.
Yeah, his
5
phone-
minutes.
Put your phone in
before.
the basket.
it would
You're
light
just
his
gonna have
face
to
up.
accept the loss this
All right,
week.
Yeah.
Kumar won the. I'll say Three Amigos instead
Okay.
of Three Stooges. Three Amigos 0. All right. So question number 2: what colors can a Kenworth logo be found? A, blue and white. B, silver and gold. C, red and white. D, black and white. Or E, blue and white.
Red and white.
Kenworth logo, or you mean the emblem on the hood, right?
Yeah, logo emblem.
Basically.
Yep.
Yep,
I
yep.
believe it's red and white.
Okay. What do you say, Mark Chavez?
Red and white, because I'm looking at one right now.
He's at a truck stop.
I'm looking at one right there. Red and white.
That's funny. I guess we're gonna
No,
have
no.
Ray, Jim. I think they know this now.
Yeah,
I'll go with Mark.
yeah.
Yes, the
All right.
answer is C. That's a tie. The Kenworth colors always featured either silver and red or red and white. The brand started in 1912. The founder was in Seattle, Washington, as a car and truck dealership. But it wasn't until the owners made the truck a powerful inline 6 engine that was changed to Gerlinger Motors to Kenworth after new owners bought them. And their names were Kent and Washington for Kentworth. And they bought that company in 1923. And now that belongs
That's
to
interesting.
PACCAR. Yeah. I don't know if you want the fun facts behind it, but whatever.
I like.
I like him too. And I just gave. We'll figure out what the score is afterwards. I gave the drivers a point and Kumar a point.
Yeah,
so
so did
Kumar's
I.
leading 2-1.
Excellent.
That's lame.
That's
I
a
should've
good
got
reminder.
The whole thing.
Yeah, but
Here comes
10
the comeback.
points.
They
well,
got
hey,
it.
if you like, we can do it the other way. We can read them the questions, and if they get it right, you don't have the chance. If you want to do it that way,
Yeah.
Nah, we'll keep this one.
Are you
Mark
sure?
looked
Okay,
out
just
his
checking.
window at the truck stop and brought it home.
He'll be opening his hood next. What city is
Wait a
associ-
minute. What is on Mike Doty's hat? There's the emblem right on Mike Doty's
No,
hat.
I thought the same thing. I didn't say anything.
Oh.
I thought the same thing, but it's the TW. It's Truckworx.
Oh, okay. I can't
Yeah,
see it. It
it's
looked like the
very
KW.
Ripped it.
I almost said the same thing. I
And
was
it is
looking right
Truckworx
at it.
Kenworth. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. All
No
right.
copyright infringement there. Okay. So, what city name is associated with a 12.7 motor? Is it a Detroit? Is it a Philly, a Memphis, a Brooklyn, or New York?
Great
Which
question.
city is associated with a 12.7 motor?
Well,
I'm gonna
A,
have to
Detroit,
say Detroit.
B, Philly. Okay.
Kumar, you sure, Kumar?
I'm
doesn't even-
positive.
Detroit.
Positive.
He's positive. Jim Mackey
Detroit.
and Mark Ray.
I'm gonna go with Detroit.
Yeah.
I go with Mackie.
Hey, you're going with Kumar, my man, this week.
The
Yep.
Philly State.
Kumar's batting 100.
He is, yeah, and that is correct. Obviously,
Detroit
it's,
Diesel.
originally a GM product, which is up that direction. So
I know a guy who has 2 sons, and their names are Detroit and Diesel.
Really?
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Is he from Florida?
No, he's from Ohio. Same difference.
Ohio man.
Ohio man.
All right.
All
we
right.
go.
So
All
what do
right,
we
so
do?
we got
They
two more.
they all got that one. So it's 3-2, Kumar.
Yep, sure is. No, we got other questions. I got a bonus one if we need
There,
it. That's
we
what
might
Joel
need
has,
it.
bonus round.
The bonus round.
I like these questions.
Oh, I bet. Okay.
What in the world was that?
Which one of
Excuse me,
these?
That was me.
I love having Chavey on.
Are you at a way station? Let's see here. This next question is.
Before you get onto that,
Yeah.
So Chavey was on the show, but he wasn't on screen, Christian, way back in the beginning of our show, maybe episode 4, 5, or 6 or something like that. Just to connect the dots here, he was the one that forgot to pull his brake and got out of the truck at the truck stop, saw the truck start rolling, jumped up on his running boards, tried to pull the brake, and his shorts fell down.
Yep.
And everybody. I didn't know if you knew that. This is him.
That's why I said it. That's why I said it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yep. And the
Okay.
Christmas tree ornaments for clothes.
Go ahead, Christian.
I'd still pay to see that video. All right.
Oh,
I called the truck stop and tried to pull it. They wouldn't send it to me.
He did try.
Let's see. Which one of these is a Caterpillar engine? A Cat 0506, B, a Cat 3506, C, FCKU, D, RTD2, or C3PO?
I'm gonna go with B.
What was B again?
B was Cat 3506.
Ray, Mackey.
What was A?
It's a 0506. Oh, 406. Whatever that number was.
What was A?
Read
A
and
was
A and
A
B
was,
again.
Yeah, A was a Cat 0506. B was a Cat 3506.
0506. 0506.
What do you think, Jim? Ray?
Yeah,
I
go
think
with
it's
A.
A. Kumar
Good
said B.
It's a good trick question. It's 3406.
Kumar.
Did I get it?
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
It's a,
Hitting
it's a,
homers
it's, it's a
today.
3406.
that was a
I had a
total guess.
typo, so I'm not sure how to handle that, but
That's
Well, here-
3406.
yeah, it's
That's why I
3406.
didn't
I had a typo
Oh,
there. Yeah.
That's why I didn't pick it.
0406.
Yep.
That's what
Yeah,
threw him.
I-
All right,
yeah,
we're gonna
So,
Reason why I
here,
didn't pick that.
so we'll watch that question.
we'll scratch that, Kumar. You're gonna have to
Absolutely.
dig deep here.
Oh man.
Okay, how about this, Kumar? What color is that engine?
Gunmetal gray.
Specific.
Would anybody else like to answer that question?
Yeah, that's yellow.
There we go.
Yellow.
Yeah.
All right, so they're
Now
gonna
we're-
get. Now we're
all
tied.
tied up.
3-3.
Sorry about the
Oh.
typo.
Oh,
And obviously, the
Tiebreaker.
3406 had the A and B, and I guess the E engine, the electronic version too. So
Yeah, I get it now. Ray and
Yeah.
Mackey and Mark
Yeah.
heard 406.
yeah,
You know what? Yeah, I thought it was. What was the second answer you wrote there?
3506.
3506. So I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic, so I was like, I thought it was something different, but that
Yeah,
sounds close.
3406. They had the AB, which had compatible parts, and then they had the E, which was the first electronic version of that motor.
So
yes.
these
Sorry
cat
about
engines, whenever they started doing emissions, they didn't use an EGR. What was the equivalent to the EGR that the cat motor uses?
You're talking about when they started.
Yeah,
using-
when they started doing emission engines,
Yeah.
there, everybody else was using an EGR. Cat motor is the only one that used an equivalent. It wasn't EGR. What was it called?
That's a good question. Probably we're talking about 08, Ray. Around there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Out there.
Yeah. And prior to that,
Yeah.
it was an ACERT.
A what?
ACERT.
A cert.
Oh,
Wow.
ACERT. Yeah.
I feel a whole lot dumber now. That's amazing. All right, cool. Acer. I'm gonna do a little reading on that tonight.
Uses
Let's see.
knowledge.
All right, so it's all tied up. We've got 2 questions. Here we go. Question 5. What does eastbound and down mean? A driver's headed eastbound and downhill. B, a driver's up and moving down the road. C, a driver's heading east, finished transmitting and still listening to the CB. D, a driver sees a Smoky Bear in the eastbound lane with a commercial rig pulled over. E, a driver is driving eastbound when the sun goes down over the horizon. Or F, we just made it up.
Oh man. Can you repeat the first
Absolutely.
like 3?
Yeah, I'll repeat them all. Yeah, sure. A driver's headed down eastbound downhill. B, a driver's up and moving down the road. C, a driver's headed east, finished transmitting on the CB radio, but still listening. D, a driver sees a Smoky Bear in the eastbound lane with a commercial rig pulled over. Or E, a driver's driving eastbound down when the sun goes down on the horizon. Or F, we made it up.
C,
Which
Which was
was
Well, that's what I'm asking you. You're the one who gave the answer. You should know what
Yeah.
the answer is.
well, yeah.
you
It's
can.
eastbound. Like, okay, so the second part was he's done, but he's still on the radio.
Yes, transmitting.
that's
right.
the-
So
that's-
your,
that
your
was
answer
C.
is that one. C. Okay.
Okay, he said C, guys. Eastbound and down.
Yep. See,
I
Bam.
agree.
Bam.
Who sang the song?
Definitely,
That's right.
Wow.
They all got it.
They did.
I am shocked that Kumar
It's
got
definitely
that.
when you're driving east and the sun sets on the horizon.
I thought he was going to say that.
Yes.
I thought he
thought
was going to
about
say eastbound and there's a trooper with a truck down
Right. I even
on the side of the road. That's what I thought he was going to say.
I even put Smoky Bear just to try to trick
Yeah.
him into the lingo. So
We're still all tied
got
up,
it.
knotted up at
We
4
are.
and 4.
I only
That's-
know Eastbound and Down from the Danny McBride show,
Yeah. No.
and I don't even think that.
Isn't there a
relatable to
song,
that at
Eastbound
all.
and Down?
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
what
Coach-
it was. It was written by Jerry Reed and Dick Feller. It was
Yeah.
recorded on Smokey and the Bandit in '77 from
Okay.
RCA Records. Yep. It spent 16 weeks at the country charts, and then guys did it later, and that's really where a lot of the trucking. Music
Eastbound
came-
and down, loaded up and trucking.
But I think it's yeah. Here we go. I got last question. All right, here's another one. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Kumar, you ready? There you go,
ready.
Joel. Who originally wrote 6 Days on the Road? Was it A, Earl Green and Carl Montgomery?
You got to sing it like Joel did, though, Christian.
No.
Karaoke night.
6 days on the road.
I think I might have
That's
it
the
on
song.
my phone. Was it A, Earl Green and Carl Montgomery, B, Dave Dudley and Johnny Cash, C, Troy Gentry and Eddie Montgomery, D, Elvis Presley and Cissy Houston, or E, Lady Gaga and Chris Stapleton?
D. B. Johnny Cash and the other guy.
And Dave Dudley. Okay.
What do you guys think? You want to read the answers again for our drivers?
What was the first 3?
Sure. The first 3, it was Earl Green and Carl Montgomery. B was Dave Dudley and Johnny Cash, and C was Troy Gentry and Eddie Montgomery.
What did Kumar say?
He
said
said B.
B. Johnny Cash.
I'm going to go with C.
What was
I
that?
don't think
Montgomery
Elvis-
and Montgomery and
Yeah.
Gentry? Is that who
Yeah,
that was? Christian?
I was leaning towards C also.
Yeah,
C.
'cause I've never heard
Ray?
Elvis sing a song like that.
Yeah.
Say-
Lady Gaga didn't either.
What do you say, Ray?
Lady Gaga? No, I'm kidding. C.
Yeah. What?
C.
I don't know the answer, so I'm just going with whatever Jim Mackey says at this point.
Let's see.
Chavez felt like he
Chavi
was.
said, I'm
Chavez
the one that
felt-
said that.
Yeah, I think he got it in there first.
Chavi. My bad. My
He
bad.
felt confident too.
I'll go with Mark
Who's
Chavey.
right?
So, what was the right answer, Christian?
Let's see if I can play the song here.
Copyright.
You guys hear that? It was Earl Green and Carl Montgomery. A.
Oh.
It's
I would have went
Nice.
C too with the guys, so nobody got that. We need a tiebreaker here.
All right. What was the make and model of Optimus Prime?
Say what?
Nothing.
Too many to this.
Well, we can't end it in a tie.
No.
No.
We've drilled through all the questions here.
Wow.
What color?
I'm down
is
to throw 20 in it if we can win this, guys.
Man, now we're
Now we're talking. Anybody want to back me in on this? Come on.
Yeah, where's Ray Nieto right now? How about that as a question?
He just mentioned it.
In his pool.
All right, we got to win it.
No.
Hey, Russ,
Okay,
throw in the tire one.
Give me 1 second here.
Which one, Jim?
The one I sent you is about tire inflation.
Oh, I don't remember I remember you sent it. It was a few weeks back. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, hang on 1 second here.
So, Mike, once we get done with this, we're going to go over your guys. You got that ready? While we're waiting.
I've got one last one here, which
Perfect.
I put on there, but I didn't have all the answers. What color generally will you find a 12.7 Detroit motor? Is it A, blue, B, red, C, yellow, D, green?
Let's go with red.
The Detroit motor. He says red.
Red.
I'm going green.
Going green too.
Uh-oh.
It's
Right.
more of a turquoise color, so I'll go with green.
You are correct. It is green.
That's it.
D is the answer. There it is.
Kumar loses. We're up to 160,
Wow.
and I owe the
Red
pot.
is-
And I said green with confidence too. You noticed that?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You said green like it was going to rain.
Yeah.
Green. You did.
Chavey was on it
And he
this
didn't-
week.
And he didn't go. And he didn't go open the hood next to him.
Oh,
Yeah, Chavey was on it this week. He wasn't even waiting for Jim Mackey to answer, like he has been in the past.
But great job to Kumar, man. That was very
Yeah,
impressive.
you know,
Yeah,
hey,
Coom.
Thank
hey,
you.
we
that's
went
all.
to 15 rounds.
You brought it strong, Kumar.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
well,
did.
I felt like those first questions were very easy, and then all of a sudden it got really technical.
Yeah.
Rudolph Diesel. I like.
Yeah,
thought
I know.
That sounds
Well-
like such a fake name.
Well,
No, but
Ku-
I knew that there was
Any
the
relation to
person
Van
who-
Diesel?
Kumar is a reader. And so I think these last 21 weeks that we've been doing this show, he's been reading some trucking stuff lately.
No, I'll tell you right now, nope. Nope, I have not. But yeah, I just knew that a guy named Diesel made the diesel engine, and so I figured that might be it.
I
But
think
I didn't think the diesel engine was the first combustion engine.
it was compression, not combustion.
Compression. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
It works.
That works. So, Mike Doty, Florida man. What's Dalla doing these days?
Yeah, I think I got him up here.
Can we get a holla for Dalla?
I just got a couple guys. Lee had to go home and fix a tooth, and I just put a couple of guys together. So I'll share my screen here real quick. Just run through it.
Lee texted me today, and he said, have you heard about a driver shutdown for a day? The owner-operator shutdown for a day? I said, no, I haven't. I said, I hear talk about it just about every year, but it's usually to protest cheap rates. And I said, but the rates are pretty good right now. I don't think I'd be shutting down for that. So maybe, I don't know what their purpose is. But no,
Yeah,
I
I
thought it was
haven't
kind of
heard it.
funny.
It was it's I think it's August 31st. It's in a lot of Australia's COVID mandatory shoving things in kids' nose and the unrest over there. I had a driver call in today. I think he said it was
okay.
going to be the 31st
Okay.
of August. So
So it has nothing to do with rates and stuff like that.
no, they had
like it
mentioned that
shouldn't.
the other shutdown was if they ever make it mandatory for drivers to end up getting a vaccine after working 12 months without one and putting their
Yeah.
lives on the line, that that'd be a shutdown. That would be the ugliest shutdown this country's ever
It
seen.
sure would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just
That would hurt the economy. That's for sure.
I think what was it? The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff just mandated all military service members of the United States to get vaccinated, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, when I was in the Army, they gave us shots left and right every time we deployed somewhere. They were lining us up and shooting us in the arm with some kind of vaccine. And you got to have a ready, able force. So I don't get it. This show's not politically or religiously driven at all, but.
I just don't know.
Coming from a military background, I mean, it's not like this is anything new. They mandated us to get vaccines all the way through history. So,
Yeah, but they usually didn't have a 99.8% survival rate, and they didn't have to give boosters for you every 3 months in Iraq
Right.
either. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some great logistics side to this. Is once it happens, every 6 months someone has to re-administer it. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm a pro-choice guy, so I'll probably just be quiet now. Sorry.
I am too. I am
I'm
too.
with
It's
you,
just
Christian. I'm with you on that
No,
one.
I'm with you. I don't want anybody to take me the wrong way.
No.
I mean, I think it's your own personal choice to get vaccinated or not. I am vaccinated.
Yeah.
I think it's important for me to be, especially with some people in my family that are older and have some issues. I don't want to get them sick.
Yep.
And I've had COVID a year and a half ago or whatever it was in June.
Yeah.
But it's not my choice to push it on someone else. I agree with that. I'm just talking about the military because I personally went through no choice getting vaccinated.
Right.
You join the military.
Yep.
You sign up for that. It don't make you come in. So you kind of know. I knew what I was getting into when I joined out of high school. All right, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Jack New. I've been running him so he can get home and surprise his son. He likes being home for his son. So I got him through the house a couple days. 2 to 3 nights, I think he ended up getting home. This is 6.5 days. Again, the half day, if they pick up or if they had delivered in the morning and pick up in the afternoon, I count that as a half day. But yeah, he did 76.50, 290 a mile. Just kept him right here. He lives right in the south of Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he crossed through there a few times and got home. And then he was home for a cookout over the weekend, and he's loving it.
It's nice when you can touch the house a couple nights a week, and then
his
still
son,
put that
he
kind of
really,
thing in.
he only asked to be home, I think, every other weekend or just get by the house every other weekend. But I figured if I can, his son's pretty much everything to him, so like anybody's kids. But
yeah,
he really wanted to be there.
That's great.
So I just figured I'd make him happy, and pops in and doesn't even tell his son he's coming, surprises him. So
that's cool.
And then Dala, here's Dala. This is coming out of New York City too. Well, the island there, pretty much New York City. And I got him like 4,400 from there down to Louisiana, and he did great again this week, 79.50 on 332 a mile. And this was, again, 6.5 days. He did a 34 over the weekend. And Robbie did really well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice week, Robbie.
7.5 days.
Is Keely riding with Robbie now, or
No,
she at the house still?
Yeah, she's still at the house. He's still this coming weekend, I think, would have been his weekend home. He's wanting to be home every other weekend now, but he's going to stay out till Labor Day. And he still popped by the house. I think I got him home for a night. The one in between, I don't know, one of these loads, he was home for a night. He delivered on a Saturday, was able to go home Saturday night, pick up Sunday, and roll out. But this is 7.5 days. And again, I one of the loads from the previous week he delivered and then picked up, so I just counted that as a half day. But 91.57, 337 a mile, and he did really well. I've noticed the rates coming out of St. Louis area have been really good lately, and he's been.
Well, he lives there,
so when he goes,
that's good.
When he goes home, he gets, comes out. I've been getting him $3,000 or something over to North Carolina on like seven something on the miles.
Yeah, that's a good way to start his week.
Oh yeah, and he's running that load again. Monday, I think. But anyway.
So great job. I got a question for you. So if you're running your guys and you have a guy that says he wants to be home every other weekend, he's somewhere other than Washington State or somewhere out there, right, for his home. What would you say that you could realistically obtain for him week after week with him being home every other weekend for, running 85% like we talk about? Where would you put his gross number at on a dry van coming in the door to you right now?
Where would I put his gross number
So you mean
every other weekend?
So for the week that what he would do for the week
I would
in total revenue?
I would figure it on a month, like we're talking about, give it a month. So I'd figure the revenue, on a month and then divide it weekly, I guess, because that 1 week would be a little bit less, but I would probably want to put it at right at 7. Yeah, 7 a week.
Cool.
You know, depending on the miles, rate per mile,
Yeah.
and things like that. You know, 65 if he's getting a great rate per mile.
Right. More net, more of a
yeah.
net situation.
There's a
Yeah.
rule of thumb that we kind of use. We've all used for a long time. So when I know we spout out all this revenue every week and we talk about our different drivers doing this, I'm just going to mention this. So like, let's talk about take home pay real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesse's in my company truck. I'm very transparent. I pay Jesse very fairly. He sees the Raycons. He sees the revenue. He knows where we're at every week. So if we do $7,000 on that truck, just so anybody that's listening understands, what does that mean to the driver? So let's say now you got to understand, I'm not driving the truck, Jesse is. But if I were, I do get that settlement and I just pay Jesse. Basically, we split it basically. But if I do $7,000 on that truck, I'm after my truck payment and my fuel, my fixed costs, it typically, if you look at it over time, it's going to be about half. So you're going to see about a $3,500 take home net pay on that week. That's the typical rule of thumb. Now, sometimes depending on how much fuel I use or et cetera, it might be a little higher, might be a little less. But Ray, Jim Mackey, wouldn't you guys agree with me? That's about the way it works out for you guys as well.
That's pretty fair, depending, like you say,
Yeah.
where you go to with your fuel cost.
Right.
Because if you happen to go to California, you're going to pay over $4 a gallon.
Exactly.
But if you stick around Texas, you're going to pay less than $3.
Yeah, and if you're climbing up into the mountains all the time, you're going to spend more fuel.
Fuel costs will be more too.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But on average,
Typically, my numbers are right around there too.
It typically depends also too on how fast you're driving and the conditions that you're driving in.
Whether you can shut your truck off at night or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, and I'm just saying, I'm glad you guys chimed in and kind of feel the same way. I know Ray and Mackie and Mark do, but so when you see us talk, when Mike talks about what he put on his truck for this guy, when Christian talks about it, when I mention it, typically half of that gross revenue is about what you'll keep, give or take a couple of scenarios like Jim and Ray and Mark just mentioned, but that's pretty much where you'd be. You put $8,000 on a truck, you should see $4,000 after all your costs and fixed and variable costs.
Typically I do a little bit better than what. Okay, so if we're looking at about half, and we've always talked about this, Russell, and I've talked about this with Mark and every other driver I talk to. So whatever you're grossing, typically you want to say about half for safe to have a safe number, but I usually do better than the half mark. So give or take $300 to $600 better.
And I see it.
Well, yeah, that's where you guys. Yeah, that's where cutting down on fuel costs, paying attention to where you're fueling, fuel mileage. Yeah. That's where you guys can save money. And I've said this before. Your fuel mileage alone, if you watch your speed, you can pay for your trailer payment each week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it comes down to speed, the weight, what kind of weight you're carrying, how much fuel you're burning, but the speed thing and your fuel is your biggest expense,
And honestly, Mark, you mentioned weight. Christian, Mike, I bet you guys have heard this a million times, and I'm going to put it out there. I've had guys tell me, well, that load was supposed to weigh 38,000 pounds. It weighs 43.5. Will they pay me more? No. And you don't bid freight or negotiate on freight based on the weight for the most part. I mean, we look for lighter loads, but the customer doesn't care if it weighs 40,000 or 20,000.
They're paying an 80,000 max.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Unless
so
it's potatoes on a 100 weight or something like that.
Exactly.
Unless you're hauling raw material, that's not a factor. Raw material, like in a dump truck or grains or
exactly,
stuff
and
like that. You're paid by the weight.
So maybe, I mean, I've heard that call over the years a million times. Well, it was supposed to weigh 38 and it weighs 43.5. Can you get me more money? It does not work like that, guys.
Well, because you're not going to give any money back if it's lighter, right?
Yeah, if it weighed.
I mean, there's times that the
Good
Raycon
point.
says it's 40,000 and you end up being at 26,000. Doesn't mean okay, now it's going to pay less because it's lighter.
But there is
basically.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely, but there is the flip side of that is if you continuously get sold freight that's 12,000 pounds and it ends up being 44.5, we're having a conversation. You can take it off of the dock or
Exactly.
you can pay us
That's
more.
a huge,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
mean,
There
huge
you go.
difference.
Yeah, we'll give-
10,000 pounds versus 40.
Yeah, a 15% variance is one thing. 30,000 pounds, you need to go fish, and this will be back on your dock. Or you can pay me what it's going to cost to move it.
Right. Now that scenario, yeah, and that's not what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. I'm talking about
Yeah.
when someone is 35 to 40,
Yeah.
it says on the rate con or the contract, and you come in there, it's 43.5, and you know, I've been asked that so many times, can I
Yeah.
get more money? No, I can't.
Yep.
It's
Now,
not,
can
they're
I
going to
go
laugh
old
at me.
school on you? Can I go old school on you?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I can remember
Maggie.
when I
Go,
first
Maggie.
started driving, when you went and you negotiated on a price, it was so much 100
Yep.
and it was so many miles. And that's when you negotiated your price. It wasn't
Well-
on the total mileage rate. It was, okay, we're going to pay
100
so
weight?
much 100
Yeah.
wage.
Yeah, and
But
I've
I'm
bid
talking
freight like
back
that.
in the early 80s.
But most of that was produce. It was potatoes,
Well, this was
onions.
flatbed.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
told
well,
flatbed at that time.
they were hauling onions on flatbeds. They still do.
Oh.
They do a lot of potatoes like that, a lot of onions, a lot of produce. They'll do the heavier stuff like
Poppers
they'll do
like
it by
that
weight.
now,
Russ.
but
Yeah, Rush,
And
you're
they'll
right.
cut
Read
your
the
rate.
con. Yeah, read the rate
No
con.
boat fuel.
Oh yeah, because we
Yeah.
haul that seasonally. We do stuff like that, and we do some round trips and stuff. And Tina always brings it up, highlights it on the rate con, sends it to the driver. If you don't get 43.5 on, they're going to cut this rate. And we let them know. Tina makes sure they know because we've had the rate cut. They've short paid because the weight. You know, driver
That's
wouldn't
a
let
good
them load it.
office.
Yeah.
That's a good office right there.
Oh, Tina's all over that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tina's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got
And
extra
just keep in
highlighters
mind
if
that-
she needs them.
Yeah, just keep in mind that you gotta pay to haul sailboat fuel. So
Yeah.
that costs the driver to haul that.
So Russ, real quick math, you're about right. If you have a $7,000 week and you run 250 miles, 2,800 miles. So fuel surcharge at 40 cents is $1,120. Then you got 58.80 at your line haul. At 72% is going to leave 4,292. We add our fuel back in
Right.
of 1120, which makes roughly $5,400. Then you're going to take out fuel. 2,800 miles at $3 a gallon at 6 miles per gallon is going to be $1,400.
I was gonna say usually I typically divide it, what are the miles in 3,000 miles. You're gonna spend 15 in fuel, and if you can
Yep.
beat that, you're doing good.
Absolutely. So that brings you down to about 4,000, and then you have trailer insurance, OCAC, trailer rent, truck payment. You're right. You're right at
Your weekly
50%.
expenses.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's a
but yeah,
really
that's
good rule
what
of
we got.
thumb. I tell new guys all the time, because especially if you're a lease operator or owner operator, you start just dissecting all these, everything. There's a lot of stuff that gets paid on your behalf in trucking. And you start dissecting it, and it really can get overwhelming and confusing. So we've told people for years, hey, just look at the total number. We send you every rate con. What you get to a week, just think half. I'm going to end up with half after all the expenses, the fuel, everything like that. And over time, you'll see that happens. So thanks for breaking that down for us.
And Metalworks got a super competitive OCAC, bobtail, and physical damage
Yeah.
cost. I mean, it's a spectacular program. I know some guys can bring their programs in the door, but if you're looking and you're getting started up somewhere, it's a good place to land.
Yeah, and don't get hung up on percentages if you're not on Dawson or Deaton fleet or any Metalwork fleet. I mean, I've told the story before where Mike was getting offered 88%, 90% at a Midwest company a few years back, and had a call with me and talked to me, and he's like, it's nothing personal. It's just strictly numbers, because Mike is very smart with numbers, and he knows what he's doing, and then and the first thing I thought and said was, Mike, 88, 90% of what? And Mike didn't leave, and now he's famous. Talkin Truckin co-host.
That's it.
And going back to Christian's question, because I've been thinking about it the whole time, and I got the calculator right.
Is that a golden
here.
calculator?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it
was,
is.
yeah, my golden calculator.
He's been
But,
doing really well.
I probably, honestly, if the driver came to me wanted to be home every other weekend, I'd probably tell him 6 to 65 and shoot for 7.
Yeah.
But Russ knows how I like to do things. I always tell
Lower
like,
and tries to
lower.
beat it.
I would rather have them happy that we're beating everything and be straight up than tell them I'm gonna do something and don't deliver.
Absolutely.
I'd rather over deliver than under deliver, I guess.
I like to tell them 10 grand a week,
Amen.
but I'm going to send you to Maine and Washington State.
Right.
Maybe
It's gonna
Alaska.
happen
If you
200
got,
miles at a clip at $4
You know,
a mile.
But
Alaska,
just
if you
doing-
can go through Canada, if you got a passport,
know,
we're
the
going to figure out
monthly
how to
Call
get there.
Lesco.
At 6,500
Esco.
a week, home every other weekend. I mean, that's 26,000. So I think 27,000 a month is in this market. You know,
Yeah.
2 years ago, I would have never shot for that. I'd probably be shooting for $5,000 a week, I think.
Yeah.
But
Hey Russ, you were
Different
mentioning
market.
something last week about deadhead miles, and I think who was it that was on last week that was
Esco.
talking about he would rather Esco.
Rock and roll Esco. Yeah.
Don't I have like the record for the longest deadhead? And I'll bring it up, and you might remember.
Okay. Yeah. And I already know. I deadheaded you like 800 miles one time.
Yeah,
I did.
from up in Washington somewhere.
That was several
all
years
the way
ago.
down to Northern California.
I knew
and
what
then
I
you
could
got-
get you out of there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there was complete garbage, like 60, 70 cents a mile
yeah.
coming out of where you were. And I'm like, I'm just going to run you, Mark, like I would run myself if I was in that truck. And we deadheaded it, and you still made a
Deadheaded
great
all
week.
the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I ended up
Yeah.
picking up a load. Remember the bladder, or I said I had a walrus in the back of my truck. They
Yeah.
put a bladder of wine going all the way up to New York, and it paid something like $9,500 to get
It
up
was,
there.
yeah. But, you got to think about all those mountains. And if you're coming out of there heavy in that Pacific
Yeah,
Northwest and pulling through those
Exactly.
mountains, not only is it the wear and tear on the truck, but you're not getting paid. At that time, the market wasn't good either, Mark. It was pretty rough. Sometimes we were putting Band-Aids on week just to make sure that, you
Exactly.
made some wages back then. And that's the time it was. But, yeah, that happened. You might still have that record. I don't think I've deadheaded anybody that far again.
More than 800.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't have to these days. I mean,
Yeah.
I did it today though. Jesse and I'm not going to hold everybody up very much longer. But Jesse was in Orlando. He delivered late last night, and I told him I looked for about 2 minutes, and
I heard
he's in a reefer.
1,500 to Ohio is a good rate right now.
Yeah, and they actually got 18, but they did turn it out. I know.
I know.
But
it's just a joke. Just a
I
joke.
deadheaded him straight up to. I said, "Go to Valdosta." He started deadheading this morning, and then as probably not even an hour into his deadhead, it's 220, 30 miles or something like that up there, maybe 80. But I called him. I said, take a hard left when you get to the top of Florida. Stay in the Panhandle and pick up in Quincy, Florida. And I got him a decent load out of there. One day, what was it? 300 miles for $1,300. Add the deadhead, even if it's close to just a little under 600 miles, half of it empty for $1,300. And bam, we're sitting up into the southeast. And then actually Tom took it from there and got him another load Thursday to Friday, 160 miles for $1,100. So we're sitting on $2,400, and this is the start of his new week today. So $2,400 on 700 miles, and that's counting the deadhead. That's how I get out of Florida.
Yeah.
what I would do when I was coming out of Florida, out of the Tampa area, is that because I was driving and booking myself, I'd start when I didn't get a load out of Florida and I would deadhead, I'd start heading north and I would post my truck in like Valdosta.
Mhm.
And then as I got close to Valdosta, I'd post it in Tifton.
Dothan, Alabama.
Yeah, things
Yeah.
like that as I'm heading towards like Atlanta or whichever market was better at the time, heading towards there. And I might stop in Valdosta and take another look, see what's out there, see what's at the board, see where I got to head to. But I would kind of do that. I'd post my truck, in those cities as I was headed towards them.
It just
A lot of times
and
it worked. A lot of times
Yeah.
I'd get the calls, and a lot of times it would work.
And it just seems like every week we're talking about deadheading out of Florida now, and it's probably because we have a lot of reefers that do run north and south, so from Michigan, Ohio down there. But that's how it happens every week. We're doing it. So with that, guys, thanks. It's been 21 episodes. I'm enjoying it. I love it. It's a great show. Closing out Truckworx Kenworth of Dothan, Alabama. Thanks, Brian, for all your advice and info about the truck market, over-the-road apparel, work clothes for the modern-day trucker, Prime Wellness and Performance in San Antonio, Texas. And Ray, we got to, like I said last week, we got to get Louie. We got to get him on. Football season's 2 weeks away, basically, I think, is when to start.
Getting ready for
And
that.
be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. With that, if anyone else got anything, if not, go Indians, go Browns, and go Cavaliers.